What's good, Josh? Your boy J Suave. I'm the host of J Suave TV. We are just a little bit over 24 hours until that Stranger Things 5 Volume 2 drops on Netflix if you're on the East Coast. Any other coast or time zone, I don't know about that. I gonna have to look that shit up on Google. What I do know is I planned on getting y'all a trailer breakdown before Volume 2 drops. And here I am to deliver, as I usually do. But I also want to talk about some teaser statement that the Duffer brothers had for these next 3 episodes that will be in Volume 2. Just so we can have a little idea of what we can expect going into this next volume. With all those things said, if you like anything I gotta say all in this video, I already know what I gotta do. Go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. Let's get into this trailer breakdown. So boom, we start off the trailer where we left off by the end of Volume 1. We see Will standing amongst all the carnage caused by Vecna and partially himself too. Monologuing, and in typical Will fashion, he negative as shit. Talking about some, we failed and we never had a chance. Brother, relax. Y'all barely even got started if we being for real. Get this next scene and it seemed like he's talking to his mom when he says this. And luckily Joyce is there to calm his little ass down, talking about some, yo, we just getting started. Vecna don't know who he fucking with just yet for real, and we still got 4 episodes to turn shit around. Relax. On top of that, you just got powers that nobody was expecting to come. We get you in the same room as 11 before we start calling it quits. Next couple images is not really any dialogue going on. We just got Mike looking up at something that's red. I can assume it's the mind flare. Also get Max entering this building that's seemingly turning. I don't know. We're cutting to this scene right after that. Now accompanied by Holly looking down this tower that does not look kid friendly at all. And look at their faces. Whatever is down here got them absolutely shook. Then cut to Dustin, Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve looking at this building that's not ominous in any type of way. They're investigating the building, and Dustin comes to the realization that everything they've known about the Upside Down has been a lie. It just leaves him with this I ate ass face right here, as you can see. Very curious to see what event led him to believe that everything they know about the Upside Down is a lie. He says everything they've assumed. That's even more crushing. That means y'all ain't have no concrete evidence exactly what the hell is going on in the Upside Down, which is understandable. From what we've seen, it's a very expansive type of dimension, universe, world, whatever it is. I can't even fault you for coming to new realizations right now in the final season, but it is tough to hear, especially considering we only got 4 episodes left. Like, how different is the Upside Down from what we've come to know or assume up until this point? Cut back to Max and Holly yet again, so they're going to be heavily involved in Volume 2, which I would expect, especially with all the rumors that we'll be going back to the 1950s at some point to see Henry before he became Vecna. So I'm assuming these two are going to relive that timeline, see who Henry was before he became the monster that he is today. But in this scene, they're just walking towards this door. They end up walking through it. We don't know where they end up. Then we cut to Steve and Dustin looking at this thing in the sky, similar to how Mike was in that earlier scene I showed y'all. This time they actually show us what they looking at. What the fuck is this? I want to be Dark so bad. If you watch Dark, you know I'm not about to look up at that time blob thing because I don't want to get spoiled any into season 3, even though season 3 been kind of trash so far. I actually need to pick up. But yeah, what is this that they looking at? Then cut to 11 in this badass fit, putting on these headphones for communicating with our homie from back in the day, that one episode of season 2. Y'all remember 008, aka Callie, who we seen was hemmed up at the end of Volume 1. Now 11's asking her for help in taking down and killing Vecna. From the look of her face, she don't look too thrilled about that idea. Now I really don't know how she's about to be coming in this next volume. We can trust her, or if she's scary and she's not gonna be for the fight when the time actually comes. I am looking forward to seeing this conversation between her and 11 and how that shakes out. I also want to see how she ended up getting captured by the military. What were the big plans they had for her character? Definitely was nothing nice. Speaking of Vecna, we get a next shot at Henry. Look like he's pulling up to the house that he had Holly at. And he don't look too thrilled. It's raining on him. Got a straight face. He's look like he's processing some type of betrayal. Some shit that just pissed him off. So he's go be on BT more than he already was in Volume 1. I'm jacking it. He needs to be in these Pennywise conversations. I've seen y'all trying to compare the two. Right now, in my opinion, there's nothing to talk about. Respectfully. You're a good dude, Henry. It's nothing wrong with that. We get this next scene of Jonathan and Nancy in the trailer. They're looking up at what Steve and Dustin were looking at. Look at Jonathan put his hand out there to protect Nancy like she needed any type of protection. Why do we even need this little love triangle thing they're trying to do with him, her, and Steve? It's very clear Jonathan is not going like that. We get a better shot of what they're looking at, and just based off the grounds around, I can assume that Dustin and Steve are a level lower and they were looking at this same image. Why they're so close and they're not, I don't know, but Nancy and Jonathan, y'all need to find your way up out of this. This shit look like a supernova ready to touch down at that platform at any moment. This next scene of Murray driving seemingly the same truck that he was driving in Volume 1, walking on the walkie telling the gang it's showtime. We cut to the military that are firing at Lord knows what. That's thing I learned from the last episode. All that firing is not gonna do shit to a true Demogorgon. And I know they're not wasting all them bullets on a regular human, so something's not adding up. I was looking at this next scene and I'm like, what is going on here? Then I realized, wait, Murray's driving a truck. They're at the back of this truck. They're pulling up on the military base. This is who the military is firing at. I'm kind of thankful low-key because I'm like, I'm glad y'all learned your lesson from the last volume. If they were still trying to fire them guns at Demogorgons, they deserve everything that they got. Now, the fact that they shooting at the group, not the biggest fan of that, not go lie. Especially because they're bigger fish to fry. Not saying them let's go do nothing against Demogorgons, but why are you shooting at these people here that are clearly trying to help? It's okay, because when the world needed her most, Nancy pulled up from the top of that truck and got to busting at the military. So it's a shootout right now. I know Nancy is just one person, but she know how to use that gun. The military not gonna have the sweetest time handling her, I'm telling you right now. We have this next scene of Robin saying, I thought that was supposed to be the easy part. And we got Lucas responding, it was. By the way, look who we got in this scene. Dustin ended up pulling up. So at some point, Dustin's group is going to relink up with Will's group, which means at some point they're going to leave the Upside Down. I'm curious to see when that's going to happen, though. If they don't drag out the reunion between these two groups, the longer they wait to make this happen, the longer it takes for the military to actually get on their side. And to me, that just don't make no sense. There's a bigger threat out there. These people are clearly here to help. Let them in, bruh. Stop being so ignorant. Go to the next part of the trailer, and Max and Holly are running through the woods of the Upside Down, and they get impressed by somebody. Lord knows who this is. Hopefully it's not Henry. Shit, maybe it's Barb. Who really knows at this point? We get this next scene of this hospital looking area, and look at the toes on this thing. My God. If I get this creature a nail clipper ASAP, you could assume whoever this is looking at him. Prayers up for whoever this is for real. Because them two people back here is not protecting her from whatever that is. This next part of the trailer, we got Will standing up, clearly using his powers. Look at his eyes turned all the way to the back of his head. We get a cool, wholesome scene with Mike and Elle finally back together. Look who else we get here. We got Steve. Seen a lot of y'all talk about Steve is going to die in this volume. Honestly, that very well could be true. Nonetheless, though, what this tells us is that not just Dustin, but Steve also ended up out of the Upside Down. And Nancy, because we've seen her shooting at the top of the truck. But where is Jonathan and Hopper? We haven't seen them with the group yet so far in the trailer. Getting a little bit concerned, but we'll see what happens. Then got Lucas hiding from a Demogorgon with an unconscious Matt. After that, we got Steve and Dustin yet again looking up at Lord knows what before we get to this scene. Now, who Dustin is hugging right here? I don't know if it really matters that much, but I think it's Mike. People have been saying it's Steve. I think it's Mike only because he's been traveling with Steve for the past like 5 episodes at this point. I think this is how Dustin and them end up finding their way out of the Upside Down. It's looking like Shorty from that previous scene is gonna be alright. Can't say the same for the military though. That Demodog is running right for them, but peep this next scene. 1, where did Shorty in the back go? And 2, when was it 3 Demodogs versus 1? Nah, they're cooked. They're literally cooked. And see Henry crashing out on this staircase. And in the next scene right after that, we see him revert into Vecna. We get a face of Holly looking scared as shit and see Vecna right afterwards. So I'm gonna assume these scenes are happening in tandem in the actual volume. And in the scene after, we see this red bolt coming from this house that I think is Henry. Captures the whole city, and then we get this blue. I'm assuming this is the Upside Down versus the real world. We already know Vecna's play is that he wants to make a new world. Maybe this is him making his world the new world. I don't know, but we get our first viewing of Hopper in this trailer, so I like that. Next, we got 11, best friend, look like she doing some shit. Okay, she getting active, taking down this military officer, so she might be doing some good work for us this season. Then get this explosion before seeing Robin turn this notch. I'm assuming is absolutely frying up this Demogorgon right here. No Demogorgons were harmed in the filming of this season, as seen. We got Steve telling Dustin, you die, I die. I don't like hearing out of Steve, and I'll go lie. This is also a callback to her earlier season as well. And if it ain't pay off then and they coming back to it now, I don't really like the fate of my boy Steve. But we'll see. I mean, Dustin repeats it later on to him too, but we know Dustin's not gonna die, let's be honest. The fan base loves him so much for whatever reason. Then got Dustin hitting the fuck out of this corner like he's in a relay race in the Upside Down. Nancy and Jonathan getting absolutely blown back by that thing I told him to stay away from earlier on in the video. Y'all remember that? Jonathan getting choked out by one of Vecna's many Upside Down arms. Then somewhere along the way she gets the airbending. Like, nah, she definitely using her psychic powers, but for what for? I don't know yet. The trailer ends with this menacing look at Vecna. It's definitely a solid trailer. I'm looking forward to volume 2 when it drops tomorrow. I got less than a minute to get into these episode teasers with y'all, so let's just get into it. Starting with chapter 5 entitled Shock Job. Duffer confirms for us that Frank Darabont, the director of The Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption, is back to direct 2 episodes of this season. Shout out Stephen King. He also says, but he flexes very different muscles on this one than he did on Turnbow Track. It's far darker and far scarier. So we getting some scary elements to start off volume 2. I'm fucking with it. And got chapter 6 entitled Escape from Kamazat. Directed by Sean Levy. It's the biggest episode of the 3 in the volume. Performances make us cry every time we watch. We go into the final episode of the volume entitled The Bridge. Aside from the finale, it's probably the most emotional chapter of the season. So if there was ever any doubt, we heard from Duffer bro Ross himself that these 4 episodes should make up for the decent 4 episodes they give us in volume 1. What are your thoughts on the trailer in the comments? What are your expectations going into volume 2 that drops tomorrow? I've been your host, Trace Hall. We've been entertained, and we're going to talk soon. Peace, y'all.